As the kids say these days, it has been a long time without you, my friend. Welcome, everyone, this afternoon to the commencement of the TEC High School Division 1 Overwatch. For you guys today, I am Lord Thief, and joined in the booth by none other than Julian, the other one. And we are going to get to watch some of the new games in the new era of Overwatch. Julian, I'm sure you're feeling just as optimistic about today as I am.
Hello, I'm super hyped. New game, a new season. There's nothing better to fill that Wednesday afternoon for you. So yeah, two absolutely amazing matches on this stream today, and I'm absolutely looking forward to it.
Yeah, in fact, we've got two other games happening on the high school on twitch.tv/TEC high school group as well. So a total of 4 matches today, all on Overwatch 2, which is so fun. We finally have it. But Julian, we should be focusing, like you've directed me, onto the matches that you and I will be covering. The first of which is going to be a banger. We've got Bishop Carroll Blue, I believe, their #1 team, versus the Holidaysburg squad. And Hollidaysburg, we didn't get to see much of them last season. I myself am very familiar with the Bishop Carroll A team here, and I'm excited to see how both of these teams have approached the new format of Overwatch, and see as well how some of these returning players have developed their skills in Overwatch and made that transition into the new game mode. So, Julian, I think that there's a lot that we can look forward to today.
Absolutely. New game, new challenges coming with the new game as well. Obviously, biggest change, one tank has been removed, Overwatch has been moved from 6 versus 6 to 5 versus 5, which makes fights way more intense. Tanks get way more value in a team composition. And yeah, so many new things that we have. But some things stay the same. For example, maps. And that's a good call to look at the map pool for today, which is Ilios Route 66. And then something new Queen Street, new mode, push. Lord, break us down to push mode.
Yeah, it's basically a glorified tug of war. You got to push the robot, or get the robot to push your barricade all the way to the opponent's spawn, basically. And whoever's able to push it further or push it all the way ends up winning that game mode. Julian, these map 3s have always been so elusive. It's always been so difficult for us to get to that fabled third map, and I'm really hoping that we get to see some new Queen Street today. It's a map that I wasn't too keen on when it first launched, but definitely something that I've warmed up to. Speaking of warm here, though, we're going to start basking in the warm glow of Ilios Ruins, the first location that we're dropping into. Julian, this is one of the maps that was in Overwatch 1. Definitely looks a little bit different now, but I'm sure it's going to play very similarly.
Absolutely. So many opportunities, so many ways to play Ilios, and I'm looking forward to see what the team's got prepared for us today. The first option I usually pick when I go to Ilios is the Widowmaker, especially for Ruins. It works very well when you have to play on those wide sidelines and have a chance to catch enemies from a long distance, because you basically are untouchable while they are still trying to somehow grab a shot at your head. So many opportunities. We see some heroes already have been chosen, so let's look what the team's got ready for us.
Yeah, you definitely have V-snipes on that Widow, and actually, Julian, you might have to cover for me here, because it seems that my feed has died here briefly. So while I reconnect, fill in the blanks for me.
Yeah, so my feed is a bit laggy as well, but okay, now it seems like we're having technical issues, but doesn't matter. Let's still talk about compositions on Ilios. Talking about the meta in Overwatch 2, currently it's a quite tank-heavy meta, so we see a lot of D.Va, a lot of Zarya. On the DPS position, we were used to seeing a lot of Sombra in the last few weeks, which has now moved out of focus a bit, has been replaced by Genji, Soldier, Reaper. Anything's possible, basically, for the DPS setup. And then, what options do teams currently have for the support line?
It's a lot of Lucio, that's for sure. But before we unpack this, Julian, I think we're going to resolve our technical issues. Send us off for a short break, and we'll be right back capturing the action for you guys. Welcome back, everyone. Julian, we are hopping right back into the action here. As you can see, Hollidaysburg has already taken that first round, and they're in control of the objective right now. Now, some heroics there from Jack Attack did manage to get Carol 6, that is Aiden, off the field, but they sacrificed their lives to the cause. Bishop Carol might be able to bounce back from this, and off the back of a pick on a Hasty Sports 1, it's probably doable here. Yes, it is. They find their first progress here on this round.
Indeed, yeah. We see the flip coming in here at 49% for Hollidaysburg, and we see both teams playing with Reinhardt here, so looking for some aggressive swings here. We're going into the next engage. Reinhardt's on the point, but gets pinned immediately, taken down to the lower field of point, gets that medipack, but we see so many ults being popped now. Who's going to win that next fight? We see the blade coming out now as well from Hollidaysburg, but the Reinhardt from Coles still got some kills to do here, and it seems like they're actually able to hold this
Aiden.
point.
Yeah, Aiden was able to lock it down. Julian, we saw a whole host of ultimates come out in that fight.
Yeah, so many utilities being used here, and we see the pause coming in now, probably to
we are getting
switch
a
the technical issues back to
Yes. I mean, this is exactly what we needed, Julian. This way we can capture all the action for you guys. So just off the back of a technical issue we incurred earlier, got to write the lobby here. So we got the pause coming in. We'll be able to jump right back in the game. You mentioned, Julian, that we are seeing a little bit of Reinhardt, and I got to admit that's no surprise to me. These high school teams who play at this level, they like to default onto that Reinhardt-based brawl composition. There's a lot of structure that comes with that. Compositional identity.
Absolutely, the Reinhardt gives you a clear way where to go for this map, especially for a control point like this, which has got many walls on the sides. Makes it fairly easy to control that point, especially the inside of it, with the Reinhardt, because you can just cover so much space by swinging your hammer, basically, and just kill whatever comes in your way. And that's why the Reinhardt works perfectly on Ilios Lighthouse.
It helps that that Reinhardt is very, very fun to play as well. And definitely, Julian, you kind of mentioned this, but having a shield helps you to control the map a little bit better as well. So we're jumping back in. Now we're able to see a little bit of everyone, and one. Oh, that's a little unfortunate. Carol, too. That is Kateri. She ends up going down, but there's a massive shatter delivered by Aiden there. Knocks the impending forces of Hollidaysburg onto their backs, and the tactical visor there to help clean up as well from Carol 6. That is also Aiden, apparently. But a counter visor as well had emerged from Hollidaysburg. Means at this point, it's only a matter of time until it goes back into control from Hollidaysburg.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to flip the point about 60%. There's no one who can really contest this coming in from Bishop's Curls. So indeed, Hollidaysburg will take back control of this point. But the blue team has already reached 70%, so they're close to evening up the series.
Yeah, it's quite winnable here. Sorry, Carol 5, that is Kenzie. She was the one delivering the tactical visor against Cornrow. Cornrow had managed to counter it with the ultimate of their own. So now it's just a matter of pushing out. The Riptire is going to open up a little bit of space. Kateri unable to get a lot of value off of it. Cornrow shutting down that tire. Immortality Field has been deployed as well. An important resource here in this fight, especially against the Blade from V-Snipes, which claims 4 with its slashes. And Carol 6, Aiden ends up going down as well. That's a team kill. Is there an opportunity to touch here, Julian?
I don't think there will be. Just 10% left for blue team. Maybe Moira might have an opportunity for quick touch here, but not for long, especially because the first teammates are getting picked up already. Shatson comes in, and it is going to be the red team, so that will be Hollidaysburg, who will take Ilios. Even the double kill from the loser won't change that result. So we will see overtime ticking down, and it's going to be a 2-0 on Ilios.
So close there. Josh was actually able to find the touch, get 2 picks in the process there, ultimately ends up going down. That's one of my favorite calls to make, Julian, is I have a touch, but I don't have a stay. Josh has even more than that. They've got a touch, a stay, and 2 picks, but it can't match up against the fury of the Dragon Blade. Look at it go, slicing and dicing through the formation of the Winbur area. I'm sorry, not Winbur. This is Bishop Carol. I'm getting my teams all mixed up. See, Julian, I've already lost my mind here at at the Overwatch 2 gameplay. So Bishop Carol A team, they are down 1 map so far, Julian, but this doesn't mean that the series is over yet.
Absolutely not. We're talking first to two or best of three here. So there's still an absolute fair chance for Bishop's Call to come back in the series on the next map. So there's there's nothing over yet, nothing lost yet. They're just a bit behind. Bishop's Call is now in the position to come up on the next map, but they will have to because this is already match point for Holidaysburg. So it's do or die already. And this is why those series we face here on TEC, they're always so close.
It's these kind of moments that I almost wonder if the best of 5 format, the first of 3, ends up being a little bit more lenient, right? But ultimately, I have to consider that it's really not. Best of 3, best of 5. Ultimately, one team is still going to be down in that point differential, and so it ends up being kind of irrelevant. How many games you have to win. All that matters at this point is winning, especially here in week 1 when you want to have a really strong debut.
Absolutely, it's the first evening or the first afternoon of the new season, so teams will have to see where they stand in this new series, and on top of that, they'll have to see how good they actually are in the new game, which is Overwatch 2. So many things which might change, which will be absolutely different to the last time we had the TEC High School series here. And I'm so much looking forward to see if there's a chance for Bishop's Call to come back on Route 66 now.
There has to be a chance. It's the escort game mode. It's a very, very straightforward endeavor. All you got to do is push the objective in the form of a payload all the way from the beginning of the map to the end. And Bishop Carroll is going to be starting on the defense here, which Julian, I've had this conversation with many people. I as a player personally prefer to attack first. I like to set the pace, the momentum. But if you can get a really good defense, then that is a huge advantage.
Absolutely. I personally prefer to spectate, but if I have to play, I usually try to do the defense first, indeed, because then I know exactly how far I have to push the payload myself. It's like my goal is set to where I have to go, and I know exactly how much it needs to get the win on whatever payload map I have. In this case, it is Route 66, and there are so many opportunities, so many ways you can play this map. We're looking at probably a Zarya, maybe a Diva on the tank setup, and then whatever you're most comfortable on, basically.
Route 66 is actually a pretty good map for those comfort picks, whether it's the Junkrat that we're so fond of here in the TEC High School League, or if it's that Reinhardt-based brawl style composition. This is a good map to run those on. It's definitely going to be brawl-based comps here, Julian, but it's not going to be with Reinhardt as the tip of the spear here. It's instead going to be the whole spear itself. Carol 6 Aiden has taken up the defender of Numbani, Orisa, but they're going up against the harrowing Junker Queen in the form of Jack Attack's tank.
That's in fact going to be a really, really brawly composition we're facing here, especially because we are facing the Reaper, we're facing the Junker Queen, so a lot of short distance damage we're looking at, and that definitely, I see they picked the Mei as well, so wow, I think we can close the map to like about 5 square meters maybe, because that will be enough to determine who's going to win the fight.
Yeah, pretty much. That's certainly the ideal distance that you want to be fighting in here for both of these teams. I like the Mercy here from Carol 3 as well to help amplify damage, although Sombra, Carol 5, that is Kenzie's already going to be doing plenty of that. First fight breaking out around the corner here. Wise of Bishop Carroll to let the cart advance just a little bit, but unfortunately they end up losing Kateri first. Eventually Kenzie and Aiden end up going down, and it's just a cleanup here for Holidaysburg.
It is indeed. They try to move the call a bit, play around the natural cover, but at the end, the Junker Queen just overran them, no chance of escape as soon as you're getting hit by the poisonous weapons of one of the newest heroes in Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
And it seems to be working fairly well for Holidaysburg.
Oh, and it prompts a swap from Aiden, actually. Ends up falling back onto the Junker Queen themselves. Definitely looking forward to some knife kills, but watch out, the blade has been drawn by V-Snipes. That's a nice crit tap there onto TTV Pekka, but ultimately the blade is too strong. V-Snipes gets away with 3 and is looking for more blood to spill, and they find it. This is going to allow the cart to progress uninhibited towards that first point.
Yes, and they will have such a huge time bank going into the street phase now. They'll probably have around 5 minutes even to make sure that they'll reach second checkpoint here as well. And Holidaysburg are on the best way possible to close out the series faster than Bishop's Code probably wanted it to be if they don't find any kind of solution to that Brawly composition which the attacker side is currently playing.
It's an early fight here on second point, but I don't really think it's because Bishop Carroll wanted to engage here. Instead, it's going to be the speed boost from Hasd Sports 1, who just sends their team down the middle to clean up that second fight. Barely a fight to break out there, Julian.
Yeah, it looked really painful. That's all I can say about it. Because when you don't even want to commit to a fight, it's very painful if you have to without knowing that you've been committed to a fight. So now we've got a couple of ultimates coming up. We see on the defending side, we see that the Moirald is ready to go. But I see V-Snipes has got the blade almost charged up fully, and the Mei will have the snowstorm as well. So that is going to be a critical comp. But we see the Jungle Queen going down from the attacker side.
Massive anti-nade delivered by Olivia there, helping to eliminate the tank there for Holidaysburg. It means that it's all in for both of these teams, but the blade has once again been drawn. V-Snipes taken down in their prime by the Coalescence from Josh. Another brilliant support play from Bishop Carroll Huskies. They end up losing Kateri in the process, but at least for now, the payload is stymied around this first corner of the second objective. Needless to say, for all the picks that are coming through in favor of Bishop Carroll, they're still losing people, so the defense here, the stabilization, is a tenuous one.
Yeah, and it's not that like Holidaysburg Spirit would anyway give up this attack, and they're just trading picks ongoing for about half a minute now already. They really don't want to give up this push here, and we've got the Nano Boost ready on
let's go,
the side of
Josh.
Holidaysburg, and we see another trade coming in. So it's basically we'll see who comes up on the end.
Yeah, this is the point on payload progress where the time to get back to the fight is going to be very similar for both teams. So it's not surprising to see that fight drag on for as long as it did. Julian, here, though, you have to see a contest from Bishop Carroll engaging onto this objective to prevent that second point capture. You've got Aiden now on the Roadhog, and now with the Nano Boost, taking a breather before letting a rip there on the Hog. Beat is going to drop here from Hasd Sports 1. It means that the rest of Holidaysburg is supplied with ample health, and that's a huge advantage against Bishop Carroll. You can see it paying off in the form of picks in the kill feed here. Elimination secured, which is going to help this payload capture that second point, but you're still going to have a little bit of a contest here until eventually Aiden and Josh both go down.
Yeah, Holidaysburg is not afraid of that Nano Roadhog. They just go in whatever happens, especially because that boost from Hades worked super great for them. Turned out to be absolute fight change of them, because that simply prevented all the damage that could happen from the nanobot. But now we see opportunity for the Riptire coming in from behind. It gets one, it gets to Lucio from Holidaysburg, and that might be a chance to commit now.
Big play from Kateri, and I gotta remark, Julian, I really hope I'm pronouncing their name correctly here. They're gonna yell at me later if I'm not, but that's fine. At least for now, V-Snipes caught on the off angle, taken out by Kateri once again, and those are some huge picks here. Now Bishop Carroll just needs to push this objective, and leading the charge is none other than the courageous Olivia with the Ana. You have the barrage unleashed as well into the objective. No picks off of that ultimate, but Cornrow did end up eliminated. Oh, and the Rampage, the ultimate from Jack Attack's Junker Queen ended up getting cancelled as well. A well-timed, well-placed hook from Aiden manages to shut that down before it even begins. Pekka as well had used the Coalescence that fight, and now you've got the counter Coalescence from Bishop Carroll off the back of an anti-nade, preventing the regeneration of health amidst unmitigable damage from Bishop Carroll. A little bit of a contest, and maybe a stagger here from Hasd Sports 1, and they do go down.
And this is the first time in this defense where Bishop's Code might actually be able to really stabilize off the ongoing attacks from Holidaysburg, but we see the Nano Blade is already able to be unlocked again for V-Snipes. So we're looking forward to see another huge blade coming in from him, looking for the opportunity. Now pulls out the blade, tries to get as many enemies as possible, gets the first one, Anna down, it's Junker down as well, and we see too much damage coming in from the attacking team. But we also see the Nano Hawk ulting its way through the defense here, and it seems like they still have some chances here for the defense now. Now the Reaper goes down, and I don't think there's going to be anyone to contest us until we reach the final fight territory.
Oh, V-Snipes and Cornrow are both alive, and so while they're up, it's going to be very difficult to bounce back from that initial blade that had been delivering those final blows onto the support line. Speaking of, Olivia ends up going down. Josh, not so long to follow after. Hemorrhaging manpower now on the objective as the sound barrier drops. So once again, providing so much health to the attackers. You're gonna have the Riptire last-ditch effort there from Kateri. Pops 2, but is there a touch of the objective? No contest, Julian. We're going to at least round 3 if Bishop Carroll is able to emulate the attack from Hollidaysburg. If they can push all the way to the ends themselves, then they'll get a second chance at a defense.
Absolutely, but this is going to be a very hard task for them because, yeah, let's just face it, the attack from Hollidaysburg has looked very, very good over basically the whole map, and it's going to be very hard for Carroll's to match up to that time bank of 1 minute and 19 seconds and to match up to a total of 3 points, so basically finishing the map.
Yeah, and you know, you mentioned the Hollidaysburg attack. Honestly, this is on Route 66, but also on Ilios as well. They had managed to capture that first round, kind of off air as we fixed a couple of difficulties, and then they just come right back in to round 2 and find 100% objective completion. You know, Julian, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that part of the win condition here, part of the key to success, is shutting down V-Snipes on the Genji.
I think it's not part of the win condition, it is the win condition. Because V-Snipes Genji has decided a total of 3 fights in that attack, and those 3 fights were decided in the moment where V-Snipes pulled out the blade, because it has been deadly every time he pulled it up, and it has been an absolute game changer for every single one of those fights. And somehow, some way, Bishop's Carroll has to find a way to shut down that Genji blade before it does too much damage.
Yeah. I gotta remark as well, Julian, V-Snipes definitely passes the skin check there with that kind of like ice Genji cosmetic. I like the long swords rather than the katana. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Bishop Carroll commencing their attack here on this objective, but they're fighting again against... it's not a brawly comp, but they are brawling here on the objective. You see the Sigma Jack attack usually in more kind of back-and-forth poke style compositions, but it's even in the brawl playstyle, it's still getting a lot of value. You see Bishop Carroll losing person after person. Eventually, Aiden's going to get demech'd here, leaving them vulnerable and eventually respawning.
It seems like Hollidaysburg's got more things to do this afternoon, and they want to finish this one quick. They are holding spawn doors, basically. Try to touch
their blade.
Challenge, and we got the blade already. Snipes pulling out the blade, killing Diana, and then assisting to kill the Moira as well. So,
that's good, Kenzie.
First kill for Carroll's work there. So maybe now the opportunity. They've got the respawn advantage, but we also see that the Sigma's got the already. So a lot of utility coming up to face the faces of Bishop's Carroll, and I am looking forward to see if they find a way out of this first point here in the next 2.5 minutes.
There's a little bit of an opportunity here. Cornrow eliminated. They had the Deadeye, their ultimate as well. You have the Coalescence dispatched here just to make sure that there's no stragglers here defending the objective. Get a little bit of movement here on this card, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Came at a little bit of a cost there. You would have rather have the Coalescence on standby for maybe another ultimate from Hollidaysburg, but a win's a win, Julian, and I'll take some progress at this point.
Absolutely, and they have to make sure that they make as much progress as possible. Only 2 minutes remaining to finish up this first checkpoint, and it is not looking good because they are facing 4 full ultimates here on the side of Hollidaysburg, and they can basically work with whatever they want to now, except for the Genji blade, which is not available yet. But they have the first pick already. The Moira's down on the side of Bishop Carroll, although they trade the Cassidy's here, so it's 3 versus 5 now. But oh my god, V-Snipes is just doing kill after kill, and he is sending back each person from Bishop's Carroll back into the spawn.
And you know, Julian, that was a really important fight for Hollidaysburg, and I'll tell you why is because it allows V-Snipes to accrue more of that Dragon Blade ultimate charge. They're sitting 96% right now, and they're looking to come back in this fight with, once again, 4 ultimates.
And that is going to be crucial for them because they want to use those ultimates to make sure that no one of Bishop's Crown can even survive this next attack. Only 1 minute remaining now for the attacker side, and it is not looking good. V-Snipes takes another kill here. Already, well, Bishop's Crown already 3 people down before the fight even starts, and V-Snipes takes down the enemy once again with the Dragon Blade here. Only 40 seconds remaining now. And I'm looking forward to see maybe the Diva Bomb can be a difference maker here, but it is not looking good.
It's definitely looking a little bit bleak here for Bishop Carroll, but they might be able to swing something here. I'm certain that we'll see Aiden either yeet out the bomb. Yes, they do. Oh, the Deadeye from Cornrow ends up getting slept in the processing, and Aiden's able to get 6. That was a massive combined effort from Josh and Aiden there, as well as Kateri coming in on the Junkrat to find an elimination as well. A full push here onto Jack Attack Sigma, and then onto the objective. Means that this is a fight win, but a very tenuous one, Julian. They've got to capture that first point.
They will have to, and the overtime is going to tick as soon as that clock reaches 0, but the defender side has got the beat to engage, and they will definitely touch before they can reach that first checkpoint, so maybe they have a chance of getting some new time in the banks.
Gonna involve focusing down V-Snipes before they can build another Nano Blade. Yeah, Josh and Olivia are already on top of it. The Ana shutting down, but you gotta shut down this sound barrier here first. Aiden losing their armor HP means that they're vulnerable. It necessitates the use of the Nano Boost to keep them alive. And Julian, we found the first point capture here for Bishop Carroll. They are still in on Route 66.
Yeah, in overtime, they managed to capture that first point, which means they'll get another 2.5 minutes added on the time bank, and that is new hope for them, absolutely, because they now have a new refreshed time bank to work with, and they've got plenty of time to work through that street phase now, and we will see how they can deal with some upcoming ultimates, because we have V-Snipes on 90% again already, so the Genji Blade coming out once again.
Yep, and you know that's going to be enough to shut down here Bishop Carroll. It's Kateri playing just a little bit far forward, wanted that early damage and early picks, ending up going to V-Snipes, as well as a staggered a delay onto Aiden there. Still a little bit of a fight happening here on the objective, although it looks like Olivia was able to escape safely.
Yeah, and it gets out of the fight and make sure that her stats stay a bit better than the teammate ones might. On V-Snipes deflects the mine and make sure that the Junkrat has no chance of escaping his own utilities. And now look at this. Again, the timing already down to 1 minute, and they don't really have too much to work with. They got the Diva Bomb though. That can maybe be a fight changer. Has to use though to remake and will not get any kills from it. Even the remake kill is not possible in that small area. And now, yeah, well, Reinhardt anti-nated, that might be an opportunity, but somehow, some way, still, Holidaysburg managed to find the full team kill here, although the Reinhardt had been fallen down to about 50 HP only.
Oh, that's 1 HP in a dream. There is what I like to call in my games. I think this is where, yeah, we see a swap coming in from Aiden. Oh, but you got to thwart Jack Attack, finding the pin onto Kateri there, and the tactical visor, as well as the blade committed here in the spawn of Bishop Carroll. Holidaysburg, they want this win. They're hungry for victory, and they're willing to drain out all the time in the bank, even at the cost of all their ultimates.
Yeah, Jack Attack, I think it's becoming personal at this level. You charge into enemy spawn doors, that's gotta be something personal. Somehow, some way though, Bishop's Carroll find the first kill here with the Coalescence. V-Snipes takes it down to 4v4 by killing the Cassidy. Now even kills Diana, so again, advantage for the defender side already. And now time is going to tick down. Overtime is triggered, but will there be a chance for another touch?
No, Julian, unfortunately not. You got V-Snipes on patrol, and when they put their mind to something, they accomplished it, at least here in the setting of Overwatch 2. Julian, Holidaysburg takes this series 2-0 against Bishop Carroll Blue, and it means that they've established a really great debut here in this season of the TEC High School League. That third map, Julian, which I've alluded to as being so incredibly difficult to get to, is once again elusive. We won't see it this time around.
Yeah, but hope is not lost. Remember, we've got a second matchup coming right after this one. But let's face it, MVP of this matchup has got to be V-Snipes with the Genji. So many absolutely deadly blades, which we have seen in those two maps. And yeah, Bishop's Keller somehow, some way, not really finding an answer to it, which ends up to the result we have now, which is 2-0 for Hollidaysburg.
Which is really good, Julian. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, Hollidaysburg, they're one of the teams that we didn't get to see much of last season, if I recall correctly. So it's good to see them coming back strong into this season. They've got their Overwatch 2 roster. They've got the Overwatch side of their esports program all in order so that they can compete, and they can compete to win here as well. Julian, like you mentioned, this is only match 1 of 2 that we'll have today, so definitely stick around. Coming to you guys live at 4:30 p.m. EDT. We'll be back with the second series of the afternoon, which is going to be the Bishop Carroll White team versus Windber Area Ramblers. Stick around. Welcome back from the break, everyone. We just got finished with a little bit of hiatus, but before that, with our first game of the day, Bishop Carroll Blue versus Hollidaysburg. Definitely quite decisive in favor of Hollidaysburg, which Julian, I've already mentioned that I'm a big fan of. Getting to see them leap to action so quickly, and of course, Julian. Once again, it's you and me in the booth for this game. It's a totally different matchup that we'll be looking at this time around, though.
Absolutely. And I mean, well, on the other side, Bishop's Carroll, they just don't want to leave. They just send in the next team for the next matchup. And it is going to be Bishop's Carroll White against Windber. So, yeah, we've seen Windber last season. They were like the middle tier team, basically. And so, looking forward to see how they look in the new game and where they'll establish themselves in the standings after the first few weeks. And yeah, today will probably be a good indicator to see how well they're going to do in this new season.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And let's take a quick look at the map pools here, Julian, as well. No surprise, we'll be playing on the same three maps. That's going to be Ilios to start off with, Route 66 next, and if we can make it there to New Queen Street, I definitely want to see how these high school teams tackle the push game mode. Should be a lot of fun. But first, we got to get through these first two maps. Again, the first of which is that control point game mode, Ilios. And Julian, one of my favorite things about the control point game mode, even though I don't like the game mode myself, a little too deathmatchy in style for my taste, is that it gives both of these teams a really good opportunity to kind of establish a baseline of expectations. Kind of what compositions, what play styles can we expect from our opponents here as they vie for control of a single objective.
Absolutely, especially because control is probably that game mode which gives teams the most ways to play it. So everyone can just basically play their comfort zone, and that it leaves the most flexibility to teams, and it gives them the opportunity to just start into a new matchup by getting warmed up on the heroes they prefer playing without having to be fixed on certain heroes. For example, if we look at cars like Monaco or so, Circuit Royale, where you basically have to play the Sigma. There is fixed hero pull through it, while control cards most of the time give you all the opportunities, all the ways of playstyles that you want to have.
Yeah, there's definitely still a couple of maps in the control point map pool that you could kind of describe as a little more hero dependent. But you're absolutely right, Julian. This is a great opportunity for not only to establish those early expectations for your opponents, but also to play what you are really good at. Because ultimately, here on control point, getting kills is arguably more important than in others because it means that you get to control this middle objective. The first of which we haven't seen so far today, it's the well. So no surprise that we're going to see Blaze, Carol 3 rolling out on the Roadhog.
Absolutely, the Roadhog has been a hero which didn't really find too much attention in the Overwatch League, for example, but in the lower elos, it is definitely a great option to play. But Bishop's Carol, as if they would have expected it, have the Widowmaker as well, and they will need it because Winterbow have got the Reaper ready to counter the Roadhog, and we'll see who ends up ahead on this first fight.
First fight's already broken out. You got a little bit of progress on that point for Winber, and ultimately they end up trading the process as well. Aiden's able to dispatch Dylan there, but the revive comes in from Veronica. Ultimately, the picks are a little too strong here for Winber area Ramblers, and they will be able to control this first point.
It looks as such. Yeah, Wimbledon will catch first percentage points here on their side of this control map, and so it's now the side of Bishop's Keller who have to get back in control for this point, and they've got the Roadhog already at 75%, so that will be probably one of the first ultimates they are able to pop out against Winter, and they'll need it for defense, although the bat
nice
is at 80% already, but McGrady, he's got the kill on the Mercy, and that will really slow down the attempt which Bishop's Keller were just about to start.
You still end up managing to find the pick on there onto Mr. Gary. Death Blossom in play here, but it's not enough damage to dispatch Aiden on the hog there. There's so much health that you gotta burn through, even with that ultimate. So a little bit of leeway here for a push from Bishop Carroll, and that's exactly what they're gonna do with the Mercy with Richard back in tow. You're gonna see the whole hog come out, and interestingly enough, the Kiriko, the Suzu, and the Fortify contribute to G-Man's presence here on the objective, which they ultimately end up yielding.
Absolutely, and now they are starting to connect for the first percentage point on their own account.
Oh, nice shots there.
Oh, wow, yeah, he gets them with the scatter shot. Once again, Orisa ult being popped as well, takes down the Moira here, so advantage again for Winter, especially now that the Hanzo takes down the Dunker as well. Only the Mercy up in the skies gets taken down as well, and also the Roadhog won't make it out alive, I suppose. Yeah, it's again going to be the Hanzo making the final blow here, and we see the Dragons there ready to go.
It's no surprise to me to see the Hanzo in play here for Winber. Mr. Gary is actually Garrett, who did play last season, and so they are brought back into the fight, being such a valuable resource here for Winber, lobbing the Dragons down main and looking for more heads to click on there. Struggling with the jump there, you got it, Garrett, and eventually rejoining the rest of the squad. And I think that that's why we see the Pharah here being run by Bishop Carroll White. They've tuned in to the broadcast. They know that Garrett's going to be running the Hanzo, and they want to response for it. So the Pharah is going to help with some of that aerial combat, but you got to fight through this Kitsune rush here on the objective, and the Tire is a great response to that from Alex.
But you see the Reaper gets 2 kills as well, Whole Hawk being pulled out as well, takes down the Orisa, Hands are getting rest on the side of Winter, and it seems like they will be able to turn around over time. It's going to be taken down, and there won't be another touch from Bishop's Carroll, and it's going to be the first point going to Winter.
Yes, and once again, a little bit decisive. You see the 19% there in favor of Bishop Carroll, right? It was a really good push from them, but honestly, ultimately, it ended up being a little bit better of a yield of the point there by Winber. They were able to back off, make sure that none of them die, and then they recontest the objective as 6. So really nicely played there from both teams. I definitely want to see a little bit more contest from Bishop Carroll White, but we also have to keep in mind, Julian, that ordinarily they'd be in our Division 2, which we don't have this season. So for them to be punching above their weight class just by a little bit and still putting up this good of a fight, I think is really impressive.
Absolutely respectable, definitely. And on the side of Windbow, I like the Kiriko coming out here, showing some of the new content we see in Overwatch 2 Kiriko, the latest hero being released just today, I think, or just yesterday, into the round of ranked play as well. So looking forward to play it myself, maybe after this one. And we see the Reinhardt coming out on the side of Bishop's Carol, while Windbow stays on the Orisa. So let's see how this turns out. But already double kill, taking down the Mercy and the Jungler. Both have to give up their lives to the Orisa. And Windbow once again finishing a first fight very, very fast.
I think this is a great opportunity, Julian, to just comment a little bit on Orisa. We got to see a little bit of her last season. Ordinarily, she had a barrier, but she did end up getting reworked into this much more brawly kind of tank, which is why you're going to see Gage, G-Man, doing really well against this Rhine matchup here. Push through the Mega, really nice pick, secured there by Shelly for Bishop Carroll. That's a nice advantage, but they ended up losing Richard in the process.
It looks as though, and Windbow will be able to hold on to this point for a little longer, although the contest is now coming out. But so some teleporting going on in this lobby here, and yeah, 40% already connected for Windbow, and they are looking hot and ready to go.
That's just a little bit of a, looks like we're running into some technical difficulties again. So really quickly, we're going to send it on break. And when we come back, we'll hopefully be able to get the last little bit of Ilios Lighthouse here. Welcome back, everyone. It's those first day blues, Julian, that we're running into, and blue is not the team competing here for Bishop Carroll. It is the white team, and they are currently down in the match. We unfortunately weren't able to catch the last little bit of Ilios Lighthouse there, but we know how it ended, and now we can move on to the next map, Julian. It's a 1-0 in favor of the Windber area Ramblers currently, partially off the back of some pretty expert Hanzo gameplay from Garrett. And I'm sure that we'll continue to see that sniper playstyle thrive as we head into Route 66.
Absolutely, and I'm sure that they watched the game that was streamed before theirs, and they might have had a chance to look at some of the strats, which, for example, Bishop's Color Blue were pulling out against their enemy team, and now maybe have a chance to play the same, play their own style. We've seen the Orisa, we've seen the Sigma in defense for Holiday's Castle as well. So very wide field of options for both teams here, and I'm looking forward to see which tank we're going to see, because in the current meta, in Overwatch 2 in general, the tank is all accounts. You build your team around the tank. Whichever fits to the tank you're playing will be decisive for your win or not, for your loss in this case then. And yeah, in the background, I can hear the sounds of Route 66, so maybe we're just seconds away from starting into map 2.
Yeah, that tank that you build around, Julian, at least if you're playing in my lobbies, is 90 times out of 100, it's the Zarya. But man, Julian, that's one of the reasons I love this league is you get to see so many different options, because these high school kids, they aren't constrained to the pinnacle of the meta game, right? They don't have to play the heroes that are the most powerful in terms of balance. They can go for these comfort picks. They can play the Orisa on defense of Route 66, which is exactly what Bishop Carroll has opted for. You can run the Junker Queen. Ultimately, Gage on the Windber area Ramblers, he's going to be on the tank role, and he's going to be on the Zarya.
Absolutely.
So a little bit of metagaming.
I mean, we will see this area, which is great, and Zarya, as always, goes with the Reaper, as we see it here as well. And it's a bit Dallas Fuel playstyle, I guess. Usually it works very well, because you can just use the bubble to engage with the Reaper and do huge amounts of damage from the short distance. But we see the Sombra coming in from Bishop's Call to defend and go right into the back. Oh no! The Hanzo takes Sombra down with the headshot.
Well, an arrow for a spear, as I believe they say, and so Garrett's gonna get temporarily kind of shut down. This gives an opportunity for Wanst Esports 6, that is Aiden to Dylan to run in and wreak some havoc, and with that distraction, Garrett is able to clean up that fight.
Yeah, looks as though, and Windber, they're already making a lot of progress on that first point, and they're now close to reaching that first checkpoint. Will there be a chance for Bishop's Call to recharge? It looks as though, as the Orisa is setting up on the high ground. Only a few meters to go, though. It looks like they do not decide to touch this.
Maybe a little bit of a discrepancy there, because Blaze ends up connecting to the objective, and now without the tank stuck in this narrow corridor, it's a free range here for Garrett, and he ultimately, Blaze is going to be pretty straightforward to shut down there, isolated on the objective from their supports, which, it's support uptime in the game right now. Just the amount of healing you can do into a single target is crazy. So I think that there might have been a contest, Julian, if the healers for Bishop Carroll had been able to connect to Blaze there.
Yeah, but in this case they weren't, and this is why Windber are now going into second checkpoint territory, and they've got more than 4.5 minutes to work with Reaper. But once again, going fairly close to the Orisa, now getting pushed back though to make sure that the Bishop Curl will have a chance to walk out of that spawnway door and try to make yet another contest. But till now, Windber making a lot of progress in a short period of time.
Garrett's definitely going to make it a little bit challenging to get through. Ultimately, Richard is able to get through that choke point, but they go down during the revive. Still managing to get that resurrect. In effect, Shelly is brought back, but immediately dispatched. It's crazy, Julian. For every head you dispatch, there's 2 more to take its place, and those the names of those heads is Wanst Esports 6, Dylan, and Mr. Garrett.
Yeah, and I mean, McGarry is happy for more heads, I guess, because he's just clicking one after another. Once again, takes down the Junkrat here with a quick scatter shot, and they're already close to second checkpoint now with 4 minutes on the clock. So this is going to be a massive time bank going into this third point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's 5-12. I was trying to discern it if it was a 3. Terror Search is committed here in this hallway. A push there with the spear leads to an elimination onto Veronica there. It's a huge boon for Bishop Carroll, who then take the fight into this outside area. It prompts the Death Blossom from Dylan there, which ultimately that's not a bad thing to get out from your opponent if you're defending here.
Absolutely pops the ultimate late. He gets some value from it though, but still very important ultimate being used in a fight that was won already. So this one's missing now for the next few fights, and that might be an advantage which Bishop Carroll is able to play around, or might be able to play around, but they're missing the Widowmaker already.
It's a Graven effect as well there by Gage. Ultimately, you have plenty of follow-up for it as well. DPS for Winber popping off to help make sure that ultimate gets value. Last-ditch touch here from the Pharah. You're going to have Alex trying to contest. But once again, I've got a touch, but no stay. That's the call here for Bishop Carroll, and they're going to have to look at a pretty wild attack if they are going to stand a chance against Winber in the series.
Over 4 minutes on the clock of Windbird. That's more time than you start the round with. So they effectively they were able to make additional time while losing time by going through the street phase. So this is going to be a almost impossible task for Bishop's Carroll, but TEC, we're always open for any kind of surprises. So no hope lost yet, but it's going to be a hard task for them, and really don't know how they might be feeling now. But I think that with that Orisa, they have a fair chance of taking an advantage against that Doomfist.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good matchup there, especially considering the relatively low power level that Doomfist is maintaining on the current live patch. I think that one surprise that would be really pleasant to me is to see the D.Va emerge here from Blaze for Bishop Carroll. The Orisa is a really good kind of pub stomper pick here, but D.Va with her defense matrix just able to eat pretty much every projectile and just delete it from existence is going to be really important. Ultimately, you will still get some really good damage mitigation here. Instead of the D.Va, Blaze is going to opt instead for the Sigma. You've got Carroll to Alex on the Mei as well, so that wall's going to help to create some space.
Hopefully, and space is something they need, because the Hanzo is going to do a lot of damage from a very far away distance, and it looks as though he's already taken down the Junkrat once again from the attacker side, so missing 1 DPS on side of Bishop's Carroll. Although they have made a pick on their own, McGrady, he's just unstoppable at the moment, taking down one after another with the Hanzo.
Yeah, ultimately that was a really nice pick onto Dylan, the Tracer there with the accretion from Sigma. So Blaze is able to secure a pick, clear out a little bit of space for the rest of the team to operate in. Right now, Richard has the Glock out. They're looking to pistol down Garrett with the Mercy, but they got to go back to healing at some point, especially now that G-Man is back in the fight.
It looks like that there's going to be a switch coming in on the side of Windbird. Have now picked the soldier here, and the dragon takes down 2 Mercy and Junkrat on the attacker side. Now missing, have to take the way back to the spawn. McGrady, he's just unstoppable, taking down the Moira, taking down the Sigma. He just took his whole team, placed it on his shoulders, and just ran right into Bishop's Carroll.
Yeah, oh, someone check Garrett's PC. This is pretty wild. I don't even see this in my ranked game. This is absolutely crazy. And this is, honestly, Garrett's Hanzo has always been good, but this is a massive improvement from last season, which is amazing because I didn't think it could get any better. But I'm hoping that things do get a little bit better here for Bishop Carroll. Despite losing people, they have to start getting some meaningful progress onto this point.
Absolutely. Only 2 minutes, 15 seconds remain in their time bank, and they have barely made any progress till now. So now, this is their time to shine. This is their must time to shine. Because if they don't make it past that first checkpoint, there'll be no additional time. There'll be no chance for them to get back into the series. Because Windbird is on match point already. But now, McGrady, he's down, so that might be an opener which Bishop Calvert could use.
Garrett out. You have the power block deployed there by G-Man. Really nice rock cast from Blaze. Ultimately, the tactical visor might be too much to burn through. Ends up finding Richard and then Alex shortly afterwards. Oh, baby, a triple, as the kids are saying these days, and looking for one final Elim to close out this fight. It's a Junkrat trapped in the corner on the Mega. And there's a trade established. Carol 5 Aiden says, I go down. I'm not going down without you.
Yeah, and I mean, in the end, it's going to be the rest coming out from Cutie Pie, so there'll be no enemies who are waiting in spawn doors on the side of Windber. And Bishop's Carol, they've got the Sigma and the Junkrat to use the ultimates for in this next fight. But McGrady already taken down the Moira, so once again, a healer missing on the attacker side, and it's not looking good. The Junkrat trying to eliminate the Hanzo. It works out in the end, so revenge has been taken on the Hanzo. Now maybe the chance to get a good push going here.
Got to fight through the Kitsune rush gauge. G-Man ends up swapping onto the Orisa off the Doomfist, which I think makes sense. Riptire deployed as well. End up finding that Kiriko with Aiden now out of the field. She's not going to be able to heal her team, which means there's an opportunity to push here off the back of some really good eliminations. The rocks have been so good, Julian.
Oh, they are looking on point today with the Sigma here, doing some rock sniping, I say, taking down enemies from a long distance by just throwing rocks at them. Is what I used to do in high school, but don't do that at home, please. So now we see maybe a chance in the last 20 seconds of the attack of Bishop's Cult, but once again missing a team member early on. And look at this, McGarry. He's coming from the backside, taking down the Moria first, and now it's only the Sigma left on Carl. Overtime might be triggered, but there's only 2 remaining on the side of Bishop's Cult. I don't think that this is looking too bright for them.
It's looking pretty tough unless Blaze can really make something happen here, which they're ultimately unable to. You're still going to touch here from Alex, but they're taken down during their flight. Valkyrie, celebratory ultimate used by Veronica there to signal the end of this series and the win for the Windber area Ramblers.
Yes, indeed. So another 2-0 in this on this first day of the new series, on this first Wednesday of many which are going to be following in the next few weeks of the TEC High School series. And yeah, it has been a quite entertaining series on both of those matches, and I'm looking forward to see much more in the next few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. We got games for a couple of weeks going on here, and actually, I gotta, we don't have like the schedule graphic for you guys, but next week we'll get to see Hollidaysburg, Greater Johnstown, both of the Bishop Carroll teams. All of these teams come back into it. I know one game that we didn't get to cast today, Julian, was the Forest Hill Rangers game. I'm very excited to see how they're faring, despite the loss of 2 of their key players. But there's a saving grace here, Julian, and that is that at least for me, I know that these kids are debuting for you, but at least for me, I got to see a lot of names that I'm familiar with, and it's like I mentioned about Garrett, it's wild to me to see the improvements that have been made, because I didn't think that they could get better, and they did. So despite the quick series this afternoon, I think that there's a lot of expectations that we can set for the season. The growth that the Bishop Carroll teams still have to incur, the hard lessons learned from today, which lead to victories tomorrow, and as well for Windber and Hollidaysburg to have such really good starting matches. I think the season is off to a great start.
Absolutely. So Windber is starting strong, same as in the first matchup. And then Bishop's Cult maybe it has not been the day today, but as you said, long weeks ahead, long series we're facing here on the TEC High School series. So absolutely, process is made over time, not overnight, and it's going to be great to see how these young players evolve throughout the whole series. And Overwatch 2 is a new game, new opportunities, new chances to improve. And yeah, we'll see who takes the chances and who stays hard stock and bronze like I am.
like myself as well. We should queue together, Julian, although I don't know if we'll win. Speaking of new opportunities, Julian, is there any place that we can find you and the new opportunities that you're embarking on?
I mean, you can always find me on social media, and if you ever need help, just hit me up. But yeah, I'm looking to do more casts here on the NA side of things as well. I really enjoyed today's cast on the high school series, and I'll definitely be around for some of the new next Wednesdays for the series.
That'd be marvelous. I had so much fun today, and if you guys want to watch more of me having fun, then definitely hit me up on social media as well. Make sure that you guys have followed the Twitch channels here, both the esports company on Twitch and also the TEC High School group on Twitch. That's the other channel that we had the other 2 games on this afternoon. This way, you guys can stay appraised of all of the games that we cast here. I think Rocket League and Valorant are the 2 other titles, and those seasons are already off to great starts as well. At least here for today, that is all that me and Julian have to offer you guys. But Overwatch 2 has a lot more to offer in the future, as well do these teams. So we'll have to see you guys for next Wednesday or in the other days that we stream these other titles. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Be good to each other, and we'll see you next time.